Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to take a look at the best compositions to use, a bunch of tips as well, and also your best carry picks to play with randoms with in the championship challenge, trying to get you guys to 15 wins and hopefully to get you guys as many star drops as possible. So again, these are going to be the best pro tips, but again, I will give some other suggestions. You don't have to go the absolute best combo if you're not comfortable with it. But anyways, before we jump into it, make sure you subscribe if you're not already. We're trying to get as close to 250k as quickly as possible, so I really appreciate you guys' support recently. Anyways, let's jump into it then. So starting off with Bounty Hideout. Set number 1 is always super simple. I'll give you guys a bunch of brawlers. Just literally go your biggest comfort brawler and you should be good to go. As long as you're not completely throwing the game and making stupid decisions, you'll win easily. So the best composition to use by far will be Angelo, Larry and Laurie, and Piper. So you want to send the Larry down the left hand side, get in that L-shaped wall and just camp behind there, really easy. And then you've got Piper down the right hand lane, because once you get super you can break open that right hand wall, normally where enemy throwers camp behind. And then you just got Angelo, the best brawler in the game, just being able to one-shot pretty much every single brawler. Absolutely insane. Some good alternative picks as well. You got Gene and Leon. Gene's a lot better in the bounty meta now since the buff. Leon's a little bit worse in the meta, but he's also really good against bad players. So Leon is a good carry pick, I would say. Definitely if you're with randoms as well. You've also got the likes of Nani, you could easily replace with Piper. You've got Belle as well. Miko if you're looking to carry a lot more. Cordelius and RT. So in terms of the big carry picks you're looking for, it's definitely the big heavy sharpshooters. It's the likes of Angelo, Piper and Nani. Those are going to be the 3 brawlers you want to be playing with randoms with. So now moving on to set number 2, we have Brawl Goalkeepers Dream. So this map can be very toxic against good players, so you've got to be very wary of this map and try and get ball position as much as possible, because as soon as one person goes down on your team, the opponents more than likely are going to score, because the goal literally is wide open. But anyways, I would say the best composition to use, but you got to listen to the strats, definitely is Poco, Charlie and Melody. So you might be thinking, well, this is a really open map, why aren't you going sharpshooters? Well, this composition counters those sharpshooters and it takes far less skill. So all you have to do, run Poco with the tuning fork gadget, run Charlie with spiders, and run Melody with the shield gadget. What you want to do is pop a couple of gadgets straight away with Poco and just run in a straight line. Of course, don't just literally run into their shots. Try and juke your way up a little bit, but don't be afraid just to push as far forward as possible. You have Poco with the capo just keeping you healed up, and then once Melody gets the super, she's just going to super into everyone and score so easily, because by that time Poco will have a heal. By that time as well, you've got Melody with a 5k shield, which is just unkillable, and then you've got Charlie just pressuring up the map with spiders. It is just such a bulletproof composition and counters all the meta compositions. I literally push Melody to rank 35 so easily with Poco and Charlie. I think it's just so good against the generic brawlers. But again, if you're unfamiliar with this and people won't really know the strategy, even though it's Poco, it's so easy to play, you might want to go other sharpshooters. So instead you could just go Angelo, Charlie and Leon. I will say though, good players will be able to run down against you pretty easily. There's some other good picks as well. If you're not that comfortable with Angelo, you can go over the likes of Belle. Pretty easy to use. If you're not comfortable with Charlie, you can go Amber down the lane. You can go Cordelius, Larry and Laurie as well. And if you're looking for the absolute carry picks on this map, number 1 has to be Angelo again. He's the best brawler in the game. Another good pick would be Charlie. I know she's not your typical flashy brawler, but Charlie can just get so much damage on the field, and she's literally the 2nd best brawler in the game. And Melody, a little bit harder to use, but Melody in the right scenario can just literally get a goal in a split second, because with her supers she can easily score. So now moving on to set number 3, we have Gem Grab Rustic Arcade. So these are going to be the best brawlers to use on your screen right here. So Rustic Arcade is a little bit of a funny one. Literally range is the name of the game right here. I feel like hardly anything beats range, even if you're to pick some counter picks, unless the enemies were to literally run it down with 3 aggro brawlers, which they won't. Then you're pretty safe. So the best composition is going to be Angelo, Leon and Charlie. I will say Leon's a little bit harder to get super with on this map, but it's mainly just in case you face off against some aggro brawlers. At least Leon has some good DPS and can take them down. Angelo's the best gem carrier by far. You've got the jump gadget, and then once you get super, you can just stay in mid so easily with the healing star power and then one shot the enemy gem carries just so easy. And then Charlie down the lane, she can wall peek down that little wall really easily if you literally just go from one side to the other once your attack has gone out, and you can wall peek just like Cole does. And of course you got the Spider's gadget to push your enemy back. But again, if you're unfamiliar with Angelo and Charlie, there's other mids that you can go. So other mid brawlers would be the likes of Piper, Nanny, 8-Bit and Meg. So I'll say Nanny is probably the more suspect brawler to get countered because you can just run against the Nannies. So I would say probably go with like an 8-Bit or a Meg instead. Both of these brawlers are a lot easier to use than Piper, for example, but Meg counters Piper and Nanny and Angelo, so a good Meg will get a lot of pressure. Also, you can just send Meg down the lane, pretty underrated. You've also got good picks as well with Ruffs and Amber. Ruffs is solid if you look for a really good support brawler. If you're good Ruffs, he's so good down either lane and giving the power up to your mid brawler. You've also got Amber. Again, she's just really easy to pinch with. The kind of name of the game really here in Rustic Arcade is of course to win your individual battles, but the gem carrier is going to be the one carrying literally, because there's going to be so many opportunities to pinch and help your lane go up the map. And once your lane wins his gunfight, he should just push up as quickly as possible and try and get as much pressure on the enemy gem carrier, so then the gem carrier can collect more gems themselves. So in terms of the big carry picks, I would say absolutely, if you're a good player, you need to make sure that you're getting a gem carrier locked down. But the good thing is about this map is that even if, for example, you go in with randoms and they've picked like a Bell and you're Piper, you can actually play sharpshooters easily down the lane as well. So I'd recommend going the likes of Angelo, Piper, and then probably, I don't know, something like Melody, because Melody is really underrated. But if you're a good player, then you should be able to carry with Melody. Okay, so now we're jumping into set number 4. We have Heist Safe Zone. So these can be your best brawlers on the screen right here. This is just plain and simple Heist. The name of the game is to deal as much damage as quickly as possible, and there's a bunch of hypercharges. So just don't be afraid just to go only hypercharge brawlers. I think the two brawlers that you absolutely must have is Colette and Colt. Both have hypercharges. Colette can just steal 25% to the safe with one hypercharge super. Absolute must need. Same with Colt as well. You can just send Colt down either lane and he'll just deal insane amounts of damage. And then you have the choice. You can either go with like a sniper in the middle, like Piper, like Nanny or Angelo, or you could just go Chuck and just absolutely run it down. The way you play Chuck is that you start off down that left hand side, make sure that you get the super just a little bit behind the enemy safe, and then just start working your post down the map. And then once you get your first respawn in, you can just keep flying up and down the map, and it's just getting consistent damage. So if you really want to counter that composition, there is a few ways. You can go Cordelius yourself. Cordelius is a fantastic counter to this, because as soon as Chuck supers in, you can super him, and then you can run up to the enemy safe yourself. And Cordelius down the right hand side is really good. You've also got other picks as well. Melody starting to become a really meta heist brawler, because she deals insane amounts of damage and probably a little bit better in the base race in comparison to Chuck. But again, people just don't understand the skill cap behind Melody at the moment. You've also got brawlers like Eve, Belle, Cordelius, 8-Bit. If you're looking for the absolute hard carry brawlers, it's definitely going to be Colt and Colette. You need to go these two brawlers if you're looking to carry your randoms. Again, literally just go for damage. That's all I say, because even though, you know, for example, if you're down a lot in control and the opponents are constantly pushing you back, it doesn't matter, because you just need one push with Colette, 8-Bit, Colt, etc. to get a lot of damage and win the game. Okay, so now we're jumping into the final set. We have set number 5, Knockout, Bells, Rock. So these are going to be your best compositions on the screen. So Knockout is a tough one for set number 5, because literally it can be over in a flash. So what I recommend a lot of the time is, of course, it's the name of the game, but really focus on not dying first, because as soon as you leave your team in a 2v3 scenario, pretty much 90% of the time they're not going to be able to win it. So making sure that you really value your life in Knockout, it can be over so quickly. So the best picks are going to be Angelo, Larry and Laurie, and Piper. So Angelo is going to be the best brawler. You can send him mid or lane, it doesn't really matter, but of course he's really good because you can escape really easily and survive with the gadget, and you could just literally one-shot people across the map. It's insane. And then I went with Larry and Laurie mainly because throwers are still really good on Bell's Rock. The problem is that you might face off against some aggro brawlers, so at least Miko's a lot better against aggro brawlers than the likes of Tick, Sprout, etc. So that's why you want to go Larry. And then I just said Piper. You can go other brawlers as well, like Jean or Nanny, but Piper, you can actually go the knockback gadget instead. You know, you're going to be good against other snipers. You don't really need homemade recipe. And if you're afraid of like Miko or Edgar, for example, Piper is a good bet right there. In terms of other safe picks as well, Gene, you can never go wrong with Gene on Knockout. I pretty much go Gene everywhere. The good thing is that he's still pretty good against snipers on Bell's Rock because you can push up behind the unbreakable wall and get free kills with your super. And he's a good counter to a lot of the meta brawlers like Leon, for example. But speaking of Leon, he's still pretty good on Bell's Rock. Again, he's really good against bad players, so you can always catch someone off guard. You've also got Bell, who's good into everything, especially since the hypercharge. You've got Gray, who's really good against throwers and good against snipers once you get the super. You've also got brawlers like Tick, Miko, Buster, Rico, and Meg. I'd say a lot of those brawlers really depend on team synergy, so I'd rather just go the heavy hitters, especially if you're playing with randoms. You need the likes of, I would say, Angelo, Piper, and I would actually say Gene because he's a really good support brawler, and his super, if you literally connect your super onto one person, you'll literally win the round by yourself, so I feel like Gene is a good carry brawler. Anyways, those are going to be your best picks for Bell's Rock. Let me know how you get on in the comment section below. I definitely believe, like most of the time, so if you're ever unsure on what to go, you can just go the best 4 brawlers in the game. You can go Larry and Laurie, go Angelo, Charlie, or Melody. Those 4 brawlers, I would say, are good literally everywhere. Even on Bounty, for example, I go a lot of Charlie and Melody. They're just pretty bulletproof. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.